Welcome, I'm Serenity Howard, and today I will be presenting a research proposal on reinforcement and punishment and the impact these strategies have on student academic growth. The focus of the study is to determine the impact of reinforcement and punishment in the classroom on student academic growth. Educators regularly implement reinforcement and punishment strategies in the classroom to shape student behavior and foster growth. Over time, various programs emphasizing these techniques have been introduced and later discontinued. Some educators debate whether punishment negatively impacts students, while others question whether reinforcement fosters extrinsic motivation at the expense of intrinsic motivation. Given the ongoing uncertainty surrounding the effects of reinforcement and punishment in the classroom, today's proposed research is: how do reinforcement and punishment strategies in the classroom impact student academic growth, both in terms of measurable achievement and student perceptions of learning? Khalid and the team's quantitative study examined the effectiveness of reinforcement and punishment on student performance. Their research resembles today's proposed study. In their research, 135 students took a total of 4 assessments. Those who performed well on the assessments received candy and appreciation. Those who did not pass the assessment were required to write the test questions 20 times, and if the student chose not to do so, they were to stand in class. The results indicated that students who received reinforcement performed better than those who did not. Additionally, students who were punished also performed better than those who were not. The reinforcement method of rewarding students with candies and praise was deemed more effective than punishment strategy, as reflected in the students' test scores and increased interest in their tasks, suggesting that reinforcement and punishment are both beneficial for students, with reinforcement supporting success the most. Rafi and fellow researchers developed a literature review that compiled key findings from articles centered around reinforcement in order to highlight educational innovation centered around positive reinforcement and identify approaches that may manage disruptive behavior in classrooms. The review comprised 24 articles and identified commonly used reinforcement strategies such as praise. The review concluded that behavior-specific praise acts as a social reinforcement strategy that can increase student motivation and decrease disruptive behavior. Timely, descriptive, and constructive feedback can motivate low-efficacy students and increase self-regulating learning. Overall, the research indicated that positive reinforcement techniques based on Skinner's operant conditioning principles have significant positive outcomes in fostering desired behaviors in students. The review suggests that these strategies help improve classroom management and student engagement. Overall, the inference can be made that reinforcement supports positive behaviors and motivation, ultimately encouraging student growth. Ryu and team developed a qualitative study that examined the impact of punishments and rewards on student motivation. The researchers used semi-structured interviews asking questions regarding experiences with rewards and punishments and their impact on motivation on their speaking presentations. Reinforcers consisted of verbal praise, extra points, small gifts, or the opportunity to choose the discussion topic. Punishments included a lower grade, additional assignments, and verbal reprimands. The results demonstrated that rewards significantly enhanced students' intrinsic motivation and confidence. Additionally, results highlighted that punishments decrease motivation as they can lead to embarrassment or anxiety. The findings also demonstrated that positive reinforcement can have lasting effects as positive participation habits increased with the use of rewards. Throughout the studies, there are conflicting findings regarding the benefits of punishment and reinforcement. Some studies concluded that punishment harms individuals, while others claim the method to be beneficial. Much of the current and past research conducted on punishment in classrooms has been focused around corporal punishment rather than appropriate ethical strategies used in U.S. classrooms today. Additionally, there are a few studies comparing punishment and reinforcement and how they impact student achievement. The proposed study will help fill these gaps found in previously conducted research. Today's proposed study is using a mixed methods explanatory sequential design. Quantitative data will be collected first in the form of student assessment data. Performance on unit assessments will be collected and analyzed over the duration of a semester. Next, qualitative data will be collected in the form of semi-structured interviews. I developed 3 hypotheses for the study. Hypothesis 1, classrooms that implement reinforcement strategies will show higher student academic growth compared to classrooms that primarily use punishment-based strategies. My second hypothesis is classrooms that implement punishment-based or reinforcement strategies will show higher student academic growth than classrooms using neither strategy. Finally, the null hypothesis is there will be no significant difference in student academic growth between classrooms that implement reinforcement or punishment-based strategies and those that do not use any management strategies. The sample will be made up of high school students enrolled in a Maryland public school. There will be 3 groups, all enrolled in the same course, level, and with the same teacher. For example, all students will be enrolled in an honors biology course with the same instructor to ensure instruction material and delivery is the same. One class will act as the control as they will not receive reinforcement nor punishment. The first experimental group will receive candy and verbal praise following earning a B or higher on a unit assessment. Experimental Group 2 will receive a mandatory lunch review session following earning a failing grade on a unit assessment. First, the quantitative data will be collected in the form of unit assessment grades. Growth will be calculated to determine the effectiveness of reinforcement and punishment. Following the analysis of quantitative data, qualitative data will be collected through semi-structured interviews. The sample will consist of students who demonstrated growth on their assessments. Using semi-structured interviews will allow researchers to guide the conversation and ask clarifying questions. The interviews will focus around the students' perception of their growth and how they felt regarding the reinforcement, punishment, or not having either method. Following the transcription of interviews, recurring themes will be identified across responses to identify patterns found within the student perspectives. Using a mixed methods model allows the researchers to first identify if punishment or reinforcement is beneficial and determines which method is more successful in enhancing student growth. Additionally, this design provides a more comprehensive understanding of why the method works through analyzing student interviews. Validity is also enhanced as the interview allows researchers to determine if student growth was due to the reinforcement or punishment or other factors such as individual learning styles, external motivation, classroom environment, or prior knowledge. There are an abundance of ethical considerations. Developing an experimental study involving students requires precautions and assurance that no participants are harmed. It is vital that all students are receiving necessary and appropriate instruction regardless of the experimental groups they are in. Additionally, students who are not in the reinforcement group may feel as if they are being treated unfairly. Following the study, implementing positive reinforcement in all classes may help reduce these feelings. Additionally, informed consent to research and record is essential. Involved parties must be thoroughly informed of the nature of the study. Those who choose not to be involved in the qualitative study must be reassured their grade will be in no way impacted as it is a voluntary study. Students will also not be rewarded to participate. Confidentiality will be ensured through keeping students' identities and personal information anonymous in all reports and publications and using secure programs to store all data and recordings. Slight deception will be involved as students will not be aware that the focus of the study is on the impacts of reinforcement and punishment. However, leaving out this information should not cause physical pain or severe emotional distress. Immediately following the semester, all students will be debriefed, and the true purpose of the study and results will be explained in detail. If any students feel uneasy about the study, researchers will ensure they receive support through a professional such as the school guidance counselor. Finally, the report will be accurate, free of plagiarism, and reviewed. Due to the uncertainty regarding using punishment and reinforcement in classrooms, this study will greatly benefit educators and students by providing valuable insights into how teachers can best motivate their students and support their academic growth. While this research serves as an important starting point into understanding student motivation, future studies exploring the most effective reinforcers and punishments for different age groups could offer a more comprehensive understanding of how to best support student development. Thank you for listening to today's proposal.